Rick Spielman here, General Manager of the Minnesota Vikings, along with my co-host, George Paton, General Manager of the Denver Broncos.
Once we kind of knew it was going that direction, I had to make the call to Rick after my wife, and was still kind of teetering. And then, but
it was hard. He didn't know if he was going to call me first or his wife first, since he's been with me longer.
Don't tell my wife. I probably called him first just to get some advice. But not an easy conversation. But he had my blessing, and which made it nice.
And I knew he had opportunities before the Denver job, and he was very selective. I knew when he had an opportunity to go to Denver, what a great organization that is, and working with great people, and it was the right fit and the right time for him to go.
When I first met him, a guy from the Midwest, from Massillon, Ohio. I'm from Los Angeles, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, he instead of he says wash, he says wash. He's got a little, he speaks a little different, but come from totally different areas, but we had a lot of similarities. Our dads were blue collar football coaches. Both had incredible moms, incredible wives, and now we have incredible kids, and so we have a lot of similarities, even though we came from different areas of the country. And I think that's why we bonded initially, and still to this day, I consider him family, a brother. So it's been great just to be with him for the 22 years, So
it's 23 plus.
23,
who's counting?
But so anyway, he's finishing my sentence, which we're kind of like married. But no, it's been incredible ride. We still talk, weekly, daily, and it's been great.
It takes time to do this job, and you just don't learn it overnight. And the only way you get better is sit up there and watch tape and keep learning and keep growing. And we've been through so much together, from mistakes that I made, and him being a part of those, not actually making the decisions, because he's got a clean slate right now.
We were in Chicago. We'd go to NFL Europe, okay, and scout that. And you'd go to I think Tampa. They had a training camp. So, most scouts go down there and they just kind of enjoy the beach, this and that, and don't do a lot of scouting. Well, Rick, we'd land on a Sunday at 6 p.m. I'm like, well, maybe we'll grab dinner and enjoy ourselves. No, we're going to the Frankfurt Galaxy's hotel. We're going to watch tape till midnight. And I'm like, well, this really wasn't what I was looking for. And then guess what? We're waking up at 6 in the morning, and we're going to go to another hotel, the Scottish Clay, whoever Scottish.
Jim Kreiner.
We're going to watch tape all day. And by the way, we're not going to eat much. We've had a lot of great scouting trips, but that was the one that comes to mind.
My dad always had taught me that there may be more talented people in the world that are better than you, but the one thing you totally control is your work ethic. And first day and first time we started working in Chicago, it was pretty evident what George was about, and a self-starter, and what type of work ethic he had, and why he was going to be so successful when he got to this level. It's amazing. He's divorced me and been gone for the last 7 months, but we still have not been able to do a trade together. So hopefully someday we'll figure some way out where he thinks it's fair, for both of us. But I thought we were being very fair during
trades
the draft.
Are supposed to be a win-win, and they didn't. They didn't want a win-win. We were on the clock, and they tried to move up for very little, and that's typical. Rip, a little cheap, but we're hopefully we can.
Not only in the football world, but that's another story.
We're hoping to execute a trade today on the practice field. So we'll see how that goes.
It would be great if we could have a jersey exchange
just
out
let
here.
Them switch. We'll just switch. I think he's making up ground, but my like Rick, my boy's a little stubborn. And so it's going to take a little while, but he loves Judy as well.
Well, yeah, he loves Judy, but I did talk to Bo on Tuesday night and asked him if he was ready for another Justin Jefferson jersey. He just said, "Don't tell my dad."
They're going behind my back. It's kind of, I'm going to send him to Minneapolis if that's the case.
Well, it depends on what it is. So if you want to talk about running, he can run all day. I guess the greatest story ever was when we were together in Chicago, and George went out for one of his marathon runs and got lost, and actually was 20 some miles out from where we were, and actually had to hitchhike back because he didn't know where the heck he was. If it comes to golf or sometimes maybe lifting, it may sway my way a little bit.
Probably the nod goes to him. I mean, I've competed in a lot of different things, but he would go to these, what would you call it, these strength competitions with some of his old buddies in Ohio, and he would come back and his eye sockets would burst, right? So he'd have no whites in his eyes. That's pretty competitive. And then I think he popped a pec in another. So I'm not sure I'd go to that extreme, but Ohio's Ohio. It's a little different. They're a little crazy out there.
I came back from one of those, as my wife called them, immature events that I used to have, that I used to go to compete in. And George was in charge of the coaching clinics.
Yeah.
So I was supposed to go over and help him and maybe talk at one of those coaching clinics. And it was the first time, and I don't know if you were full-time or were an intern still then. He actually sent me home after he saw what I looked like.
He showed up. I said, "You're going home. This is my deal. I'm an intern. But you're done." So.
The most important thing is just two squads that are trying to get better, and everybody respects each other. I know from an organizational standpoint, the coaches, two of the old, but maybe the best coaches in the NFL, especially from a defensive side, and to have our offense go against what I saw what their defense did yesterday and our defense against their offense, it's just a win-win for everybody. And we're very fortunate, with the support and the resources that our ownership provides to build a facility like this, to have the hotel we have across the street, the Omni, and to be able to do this. And hopefully someday we'll be able to go out to Denver.
We would love to, and this facility is unique, to facilitate this type of, practice. And so we would love to, and we'd love to get them to Denver as well, where we have a great facility. And it all starts with the leadership, with Rick and Coach Zim and Vic. And because we've been to some of these where there's fights every down, they have to cancel it. But there's so much respect for the leadership here and the players. It's been really clean, and I know it's going to continue.
Okay, I guess that's the end of the interview.